Hi there, welcome to my channel and welcome to part 10 of my Takeover Tuesday series. Last week, Madeline finished university. She still has to have her graduation ceremony, but she finished and we gave her a makeover. And I'm now giving the house a makeover because she had quite a lot of funds. I'm just going to do a speed through of the build process because I did fuss about with it quite a bit and it would make boring watching if I did it slowly. After I had finished and started playing, I did notice a couple of things that I wanted to change in it after because I changed so many colours. Some of the things I left in and didn't change no longer matched. So the way it looks when I'm finished in this particular clip probably won't be how I leave it before she moves. So in this episode, as well as giving the house a makeover, I'll take Madeline through her graduation and we'll see what challenges come her way. As far as I'm aware, Nyon is still a teen, so her romantic relationship with him is effectively over now that she's become a young adult. There's not any great rush to age her up. I was looking back over the rules that I'd set for myself for this challenge and I'd kind of forgotten what it was for the young adult stage. I thought that I just let that life stage run, but that's not quite correct. The way the young adult life stage works is it's a little bit looser. The goals are that I have to complete her aspiration, which she's almost done. She is on the final milestone of it. There's not much left to do. We just have to wait for the cow plant to grow and to max her gardening skill, which isn't going to take long. And the other rules for her young adult life stage are that she will be aged up to an adult either when she naturally ages up to an adult at the end of the young adult life stage or when she's completed 5 houses in the neighbourhood. So because she's currently living in this one at the moment, I'm going to count this one as number 1, and she actually has enough funds to move to another house. So she's very quickly going to check off 1 and 2. And I think she'll probably get to 5 households before she will naturally age up to an adult. And then once she ages up to an adult, we then start looking for ways for her to create her heir, with the idea of as she raises her heir, she'll finish off the rest of Newcrest, and her heir will then leave and move to another world, and we'll start all over again, building all the houses in a specific theme and in a specific way, and moving that sim and taking that sim through their life. But for now, I did a little bit of landscaping on this house, which was one of the main things I meant to do. I tried to make it look a little bit like the house that I had based the design of this house on. I tried to make the landscaping look kind of similar, although at the back I specifically wanted an archway in the bushes like that I've done. So it's not exactly the same, but I'll show you pictures of how the house ended up. And the reference pictures that I used here, these are the final pictures of the house as it was designed by me in The Sims. And here is the final reference photo that I had been using to go against. So it's fairly similar. And for the next house that Madeline moves into, I will just be copying this house to the gallery and moving it into the next lot. The next lot is exactly the same size as this one. So we'll use this house as the basis for the next one. The next lot after that is the final lot in this first neighbourhood in Newcrest, and it's a bigger lot. So I'll be building a brand new house when we get to that stage, but we're not quite ready to do any of that yet. For now, we're just going to get Madeline to graduate and see if she gets up to any shenanigans over the next couple of days of playing with her. So the cow plant's in the back garden now that I've finished doing that building, and I have put the bird feeder too close to the house because it thinks it's indoors, so I'll need to go into build by at some point and move that out a little bit just so I can get the use out of that. So as well as putting the bird feeder in the garden, I've put a wind chime up on the back garden there, and there's a little bench in that back porch area as well, one of the outdoor seats for her to sit in, and she's got the picnic bench with the umbrella over it in the back garden as well. I didn't put a grill outside because grills are one of the main sources of fires in my experience in this game, and I may or may not do it when we move to the next house, but I'm certainly not going to do it in this one. I didn't make any changes in the kitchen when I did those changes. I just changed the walls and floors in most of the rooms, and I changed some of the colours of the things in the living room. And that was kind of the majority of what I did. The rest of what I did was outdoor with the landscaping. Okay, so Madeline's got her graduation in an hour. So it's at 10 o'clock this morning on the Friday. So she'll go to her graduation, and then that will be her completely through with everything to do with university. And then at the weekend, I'll probably do a little bit of work to get her gardening skill up. And we'll try fertilising the cow plant to see if we can get that to grow up and see if we can check off the last steps of her aspiration. And I'm going to be a bit more open-minded to any random events that come through, any random invites she gets to things once she's done with her graduation, because her time will be free. She doesn't have to have a job, so she can just kind of go to whatever. And in summer in this neighbourhood in Newcrest there are no wild plants growing, so I'm actually going to have to purchase seeds. I could have gone to another neighbourhood to harvest some harvestables, but I'm just going to purchase some seeds just for the convenience and open them up just to get something that I can fertilise the cow plant with. On the back porch as well, I've also got a hydroponic planter, which was the gift that Rory gave me when she came as my neighbour bringing me a gift in the last episode. So I've put that out onto the back porch and we'll probably plant a couple of things in there as well. And that's it, time for Madeline to go and graduate. Obviously the graduation ceremony isn't particularly exciting because she turns up and kind of just stands about outside the building and you don't actually get to see the graduation ceremony itself. But I'll maybe try and introduce her to some of the other students that arrive, just so she can get a few more friends on her friends list. There's 3 other Sims arrived and they're all male, and I'm pointing that out just because Madeline doesn't have a lot of female friends, and I'm actually having difficulty meeting female friends for her. So I might have to make the effort to actually take her out somewhere and try and meet some female friends. Okay, that's them starting to go into the ceremony hall now. And this is probably one of the worst rabbit holes in the game because you just have to sit and wait, and I don't even think you can ultra speed through it. And it's not exactly a fast process, and you kind of just hear muffled voices on loudspeakers in the background. So I'm just going to skip past that. And here they come back, throwing up their caps, and then they tend to just very quickly dissipate. So I will just have Madeline go home now. Madeline's going home, she very much needs to go to the toilet, and then after that I'll try fertilising the cow plant and doing a couple of things in the garden. I'm going to open up these seeds. If there's anything worth growing, I'll grow it. If it's not seasonal, I'll put it in the hydroponic planter on the back porch there. Otherwise, I'm going to use it to fertilise the cow plant. So I've got some pineapples there and they grow into trees. I might plant one of them out because that is in season at the moment because it is a summer plant. And a Christmas rose, which is a winter plant. So I'll use one of them to fertilise the cow plant, and I'll plant the other 2 into the hydroponic planter just to give us some other things to work on in the garden and to get the gardening skill up. So hopefully the cow plant will grow after this. I don't expect it to grow immediately, but hopefully by the next cycle, as in 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, it will grow. And I'm just going to chat to the cow plants and to hopefully bring up its quality as well. For some reason, some of the electricals in the house have broken. Not all of them, just some of them. But it's fine because it's letting Madeline get her handiness skill up. I think she's very close to levelling it up there. I think when she does level it up, she can start doing some of the upgrades to the washer and dryer, which is good. It might not be a big help in this particular house, but definitely in her next house we'll do the upgrades on the washer and the dryer as a priority. That's Nyon Spectre calling. Oh, so this is the meeting when he wants to break up with me, so I'm just going to break up with him. If I'd been a teen, I've had that call go a couple of different ways. Most of the time they're calling because they want to break up. Sometimes they're calling because, if you actually go and meet up with them, sometimes they're calling because they want to propose. But as he is still a teen and Madeline is a young adult, there's no way he was going to propose unless that glitch is back in the game where that bug is back in the game where we've got adults dating teens, but I don't think it is. So yeah, that's fine. It ends the relationship and takes away that complex issue there. If I do decide later on, it's not affected their friendship at all doing that, so if I do decide later on that I want to have a relationship with them, I can. And it's not given as a negative romance relationship. Normally if you break up, the romance bar fills with red, and then you would have to overcome that if you wanted to get into a relationship with that sim again. But I think because the game's recognised that Madeline's an adult and he's a teen and they can't be in a relationship, it's just taken it back to 0. So when Nyon ages up, because we've still got the good friendship with him, we possibly could pursue a relationship with him. But I'm going to explore Madeline's other options in the meantime, and we'll just see where that goes. Faye Harris has randomly come to my door, and that's good timing. I'm going to invite her in because that's a female friend for Madeline. I wasn't even out looking. Madeline had just done some gardening and she was having a wee dance, so that's fine. If I invite Faye in, we can befriend her. Other than the fact that Faye is dazed, which all the Sims always constantly are, they are growing a pretty decent friendship, so that's good. We're having a dance together and they're getting along quite fine, so that's good. That's someone else that Madeline can be friends with and go on social activities with, and she'll have more time for that now that she's not having to study and do homework and various other things. Oh, that's the cow plant just grown up. Excellent, so that's another part of Madeline's aspiration complete. So now we just need to max her gardening skill and her aspiration is done. So I'm going to have Madeline feed and play with the cow plant, which I think does also increase her gardening skill as well. Don't know if it puts her social need up, having the cow plant there to speak to. Okay, it's not hungry yet. Okay. We can still have fun playing with the cow plant though. And I see it's trying to offer cake already. There's cake on the end of its tongue already. Madeline's telling it off. You don't need to be trying to lure people into a death trap already, Maisie. I'm having Madeline write another book. She does just have the one book published just now, so I'm going to get her to write another one. And I'm realising that the wallpaper doesn't match the desk and the chair that are in that room, so I'll need to change some of the colours. Probably change the colour of the desk and the chair, because I quite like that colour of the wallpaper, or the paint, whatever it is. So already Madeline's handiness skill is up enough that she can do one of the upgrades on the washer. I don't think she can do any of the dryer upgrades yet. Oh, she can. She can do one. Okay, so once she's finished writing her book, I'll get her to do some upgrades on the washer and dryer. Why is Valentina calling me? Was that 7 wild dates? Do you know, I've never done that. But I said I would be open to phone calls, so I'm going to say yes. So before this moodlet runs out, which is 24 hours, I have to have a perfect date. Okay, so I'm going to have to find somebody that I've got a good relationship with, as in a good friendship with, to go on a date with, and hope for the best. Okay, well that should be interesting. And that's probably going to be the content of most of this week's episode, is Madeline attempting to complete this 7 wild dates challenge. I'm just going to check the rewards store because it would be easier completing this challenge if I had enough satisfaction points to get the beguiling trait, which I don't because I don't see it yet, and that's more points than I've got. How much is it out of interest? Okay, yeah, no, we're quite a bit away from being able to afford that, so we're just going to have to rely on luck to get through these 7 dates. I think I'm going to take a chance and go on a blind date on Cupid's Corner. I've had very mixed luck going on blind dates on Cupid's Corner, but I'm feeling lucky and Madeline is feeling flirty, so I'll give it a try. Diego Lobo is calling. Oh, forget the blind date. Diego wants to go to the Romance Festival, so I will go to the Romance Festival with Diego and I will ask him on a date, because the Romance Festival has that romantic aura. We can drink the romantic tea, I can get him in the mood, I can flirt with him, and I can take him on a date, and he and I are best friends, so I've got a good chance of having a good date with Diego. And as soon as I arrive, Madeline wants to chat with Victor. And who's this? Madeline. Madeline is chatting with Madeline. She's managed to find somebody with the same name as her to chat to. And Diego's over there chatting to someone else. That's a good start. Okay, so we've both had the Sakura tea. I'm asking the romance guru for some advice, and then I'm going to order some food from a stand because that's something that Madeline wants to do, and then I'll get on with flirting with Diego. So he says, a tall dark stranger is in... Okay, well Diego's not a tall dark stranger. I mean, maybe his natural hair colour, he would be a tall dark stranger, but it's not exactly how he looks, but we'll give him a try. I wish the advice that you got from the romance guru actually meant something. The first couple of times I went to a romance guru, I actually got what felt like relevant advice. Because the first time I went, I was a married couple with 2 kids. And when they had their second kid, their relationship started to go badly because the husband got the workaholic lifestyle and the wife got another lifestyle that basically meant I think it was the outdoors lifestyle, and she never wanted to be in the house, so they weren't spending a lot of time together, they didn't really want to be around each other. And when I went to the romance guru kind of suggested that they should break up, and I thought that was based on what was actually happening with that character in the game. But the more I go to the romance guru, the more I realise that you're just kind of getting a random response from them, which is a little bit disappointing. There obviously is a set list of responses that they give, and I wish they would pick ones appropriate to what is happening in your game at the moment. And it shouldn't be that difficult to program in, but yeah, it doesn't seem like that's what happens. So now that Diego has finally joined me, I am going to start getting my flirt on with Diego. Okay, it looks like he's receiving it well as well, so fingers crossed this goes well. Okay, so things are going quite well with Diego so far. We've got a little bit of a romance bar going, we've got a suggestive conversation. I was just having a look as well to see in Madeline's friends list, she does have a couple of other adult males that she could potentially go on dates with. I don't know if she's got enough to cover 7 dates, so we might have to find some new people or do a couple of blind dates to get the last few. And I don't even know what you get for completing this 7 wild dates, because I've always just ignored it, so it will be interesting to see how this week goes. The game is wanting to make Madeline a love bug because of all this flirting that she's doing. I'm going to say no. I don't really want her to be a love bug for the sake of this playthrough, although it might have been useful for this 7 dates challenge, but I'm saying no at the moment. I've got the option for a first kiss, so I'm going to go for that. I noticed that Madeline is getting quite tired and it is 2 o'clock in the morning now. I think I'm having that bug again when the events aren't ending in the city when they're supposed to. So I'll probably do this kiss, end the event, go home and get some sleep, and then we'll go on a date with Diego tomorrow. Okay, so Madeline has had some sleep at home. It's the next day, she's well rested, so before my 24-hour moodlet runs out, I'm just going to ask Diego out on a date, and hopefully we get a good score on the date and we can check off the first of the 7 wild dates. So I went to the bar in Ravenwood. I'm not really sure why. I thought I hadn't been here before. I think that was part of the motivation, but I realise now that I'm here I have actually been here before in other playthroughs. But it's somewhere a little bit different. Otter Jackson's calling. He's the friend that we made at our graduation ceremony, and he's got a crush on Don Lothario. Okay, go for it. Otter Jackson is someone I was maybe going to go on one of my dates with for one of my 7 wild dates. Even though he says he's going on a date with Don Lothario, he's still an option, so we'll maybe keep him in consideration for later on. I've nearly checked off the main goal of this event, and I think I might have lucked my way into this, or maybe this isn't going to work because I've just realised that I'm on a standard date. I'm not on a get to know you or a romantic date, which is the new date types that came with the Love Struck expansion pack. This is just a regular date that would go with any expansion pack, and the 7 wild dates is part of the Love Struck expansion. So I don't know if this will work, because you see there, just from doing the 10 socialising with my date, even though I haven't done any of the other goals, I've got what looks like a perfect score. And it's asking me if I want to be a love bug again, so I'm going to say no again. So I don't know if this will count as a successful date, as a perfect score and a successful date, because getting 10 out of 10 on the basic date is really easy. You don't even have to follow through the suggestions in the list. You can just do any romantic socials or deep conversation friendly socials with your date and you get your 10 out of 10. So I am not sure if this will count. As you can see, I've still got a lot of time left on the event as well. If it does count, that's going to make doing the 7 wild dates much easier, because I will just go on regular dates with all of them and it will be really easy to get a perfect score each time. And Judith Ward is calling me. Why is she calling me? Oh, because she's the wealthy weirdo. I'm going to say yes, because I said I would say yes. I said I would be open to more calls, so I think I've got time to meet with her. Yeah, she just wants to meet at the usual place in Ciudad Enamorada. That's fine. I've done these things before and I've had mixed results. But I'll just go ahead and do it, because best case scenario, she'll give me all the gifts and I can make a bit of extra money. The date is just about finished, so I will see if I manage to get a perfect score or not. Diego went to the toilet and never came back. Shouldn't need him to, because it looks like we've got as high of a score as we can possibly get. Okay, so yes, gold medal earned, so that was a perfect date. So has that counted towards the 7 perfect dates? I went straight from my date with Diego to a meeting with Judith Ward, and I forgot to check to see if that actually counted as one of my 7 perfect dates. So I'm just going to have a quick look just now and see if it did. So yes, 1 out of 7 dates done. Okay, so that's going to be a lot easier doing the next 7 dates. And I've come away in a good mood, so it looks like I did get my gifts from Judith Ward. Thanks for meeting me. Yes, she's given me lots of stuff I can sell for lots of extra money. So thank you very much, Judith. I don't think she'll be one of my 7 wild dates, because given what her personality's like, I don't think it will go well, especially because Madeline is the sort of childish and has a good reputation, and Judith Ward, I think, is mean. I think that's her bad personality trait, and she has a bad reputation, so we probably wouldn't be very compatible. But with all that done, I'm going to leave the episode here for this week. We will pick up again next week and we will try to rattle out the other 6 of 7 dates, and hopefully they go as well as this first one did. Thanks for watching.